What's going on, guys? This is going to be a different kind of video. Not as funny because it's going to be really talky discussy. Is discussy actually a word? Let me know in the comment section below if discussy is a word. And if not, let's petition to make sure that it will be. What's going on, guys? This video is going to be gluten-free, easy to digest, and 100% MFO. This video, as you guys can tell by the title of it, is going to be very strange. It's going to be a weird kind of video because it's not something that I don't know if people are really discussing, but it really kind of affects the game in my opinion. Also, another reason for this video, shout outs to DeviousSketcher. He changed the overlay. As you can see now, it's both of them on the top there. On that side, there's more of the gameplay that you guys can see now. And I just wanted to also note that because he works with people, he's working with me, and you know, it's not just, well, here you go. But what I wanted to discuss in this video is the elements and what is the best element in the game and how can you utilize it, and what is the worst element in the game and how can we bring it up so it's better. So we're gonna go over here and we're gonna go straight over into the help menu. In the help menu, we're gonna go over to battle guide. Yes, the battle guide. And we're gonna first start off by elemental gain, mana gain, right? So I think this is the most important part, and it proves that you guys watch my videos for a certain amount of minutes, so I'd rather get to the important juicy stuff and then try to hold you over to the end. So if you guys are not aware, I've noticed that there are new people that are coming into the game. I actually had a friend, he just started playing the game and he needs me to do a beginner's guide. Do you guys want to see a casino beginner's guide? Let me know in the comment section below. But this right here is going to determine power levels of characters, in my personal opinion. First, we have to take and consume all of this, how certain characters in the game gain mana. Now, this is only, as we see here, when they are 5-star. So when they are 5-star, it's going to be, you know, when you actually invest in a character, if they're not a faded character. So this is going to account for the legendaries, this is going to account for the fadeds, and some of the 3-stars if you feel like using them to that degree. Now let's go over each one. So fire, as long as an ally or an enemy crits, you will gain 1 mana. Easy. Machine, as long as your HP is high, you gain 1 mana. Frost, as long as an ally or enemy blocks, you will gain 1 mana. Light, very different. You permanently possess 1 mana if all allies have survived when the turn comes. I really don't like this one. I wish it was gain 1 mana. Permanently possess 1 mana is not the same as gaining a mana, so just keep that in mind. Nature, 1 mana is created when HP is at 30% or lower on your turn. This is, I've proven this time and time again, it does not work this way. It actually goes by ally and enemy, and as long as someone on the team is 30% lower, you will gain 1 mana per turn. It's ridiculous, and we can pretty much say that that might be the best one. And darkness, 1 mana is created for each defeated ally hero on your turn. Let's start with the one that I think is the best. That's gonna be nature. Nature is, in my opinion, the best because as long as someone gets low on HP, you automatically gain access to gaining mana slowly but surely. But let's go over and see what characters are going to benefit from that, and that's the whole point of this video. Let's bring up baby girl that just sniped my king in the last video. You guys should definitely check that out, my first raid battle. I'm gonna put a card, at least if I remember, it's gonna be a card in the upper right hand corner. She actually has reckless scratching, and it's 5 mana, it's 840 base, and it also has burst on top of that, which means if you were to 6-star this character, and by the way guys, when you 6-star a character, that means they have 10 mana, not 5. She has a buttload of damage to deal, and every turn that passes, she keeps getting mana, keeps getting mana, keeps getting mana. She can literally have this available when her next turn comes, you know, especially when there's a lot more characters alive. That is actually the fault of, you know, it's crazy because nature is good when there's a lot of characters, so the chances of characters being low is beneficial to you, and obviously dark actually strives when a bunch of your characters are dead in comparison. So obviously there's Rudley that's gonna have the same thing. His thing is a little bit less, 4 mana, not as high as attack, but since it's 4 mana, all additional mana outside of that make it even stronger. Plus he has the Vanguard synergy. So these are characters, as you guys could see, that are gonna benefit from that thing. You guys see my Griselle. I'm probably the only person that uses her, but I have access to this pretty much as long as someone is low on the team. Sorry, not in the team, in the match. In the match, I always have access to be able to do this, and that's very, very strong. I'm not gonna go through every character, but yeah, even Karen, constantly having your heal. Well, obviously healing is not as good as if the enemy team is low. It definitely benefits when you fight Tranquil. That's why actually fighting Tranquil, I kind of like to fight Tranquil, because it gives me the ability to hit their character, they stay at 1 HP, and then I gain mana like for the entirety of, you know, the turns that are passing while that character's at 1 HP. So it does really well. So I think that nature is the best because it works on ally and enemy. Now secondly, I would actually put up fire. I think fire is the second one because it goes off of crits. Now crits, like I said, it doesn't matter if it's ally or enemy. And again, I think that's what makes it so good, is that you can technically gain mana per turn depending on that. And what I love about a lot of the fire characters in the game, Maggie, burst. Sabrina, burst. Annie, burst. Zeradin. I guess you guys should be able to get the picture that I'm trying to paint. Okay, bro, I didn't even make a joke. It wasn't that funny. But a lot of the fire characters have burst. Some of the, like, there's a couple of grasses that have it, but a lot of the fire characters have burst. It's like built into their DNA, and to do that. Is Rachel have burst too? Does this thing do burst? It does. Why did I even ask the question? But there's a lot of really good characters that literally strive off fire, and especially when you get a fire break, it almost like I'd almost say that you definitely do not want to have fire as one of your break things, because not only are you taking crazy amount of damage, but on top of that, you are enabling these fire characters to then just gain a lot of mana for free. I think even Xeon is burst as well. So that's crazy, right? This super overbuff character has burst on his thing as well. And the best part about it is that all gear slowly goes into crit hit, right? Fire is on the side of a more aggressive player. And I think that as your gear gets better, as everything gets better, you'll do that. Also, as we found out, is that a lot of these characters that are chaos, except this one that ruins my example. Thank you, Carlos. A lot of these like chaos mages, I guess maybe they don't consider him like a mage in the way that they do it. Like you see the 280 crit. Same thing with Bailey, 280 crit. Let's see Scarlet. 150. Crash. Every time you get a crash, critical hit. Since the game doesn't want me to talk about fire anymore, but I hope you guys get the gist of it. It's very aggressive, and there are characters that really benefit towards that are not just fire, that just have high crit. And now you have stuff like FC Annie that's going to pretty much give the fastest character an auto crit, and then the next character can actually come into the fight, especially ones that have like 1 mana or 2 mana things, plus all the other mana generation nonsense that's in the game. So really, really good. I think that's why I think it's the second best. But a really close second to me is definitely going to be Ice, Frost, whatever you want to call it. Now this is when an ally or enemy, again, ally or enemy, block. Now this is, in my opinion, going to benefit more defensive play. This play is not really utilized that often right now in the game, like utilizing characters with high block. We do have Digas here. Let's see, Digas 390 block, Bathory 30. But you see Bathory so often, and you know, hopefully they're frontline. And I think that's actually why people use Digas, is because his block is so high, and then he actually has he's packing the block. So what happens is that once someone gets low, he starts to provoke, he'll get a couple blocks in, and then Bathory is on her mighty way to her mega burst. And a lot of these characters like Karina, who's going to be benefited off of that. Now she's a little bit fast, so it kind of sucks for her. Yeah, where's her speed? 112. So it won't be their first turn, right? But by the second turn, if your team was blocking a lot of damage, there's a possibility that on your next turn you'll have a decent amount of mana, and then can do very strong things. As we can see, Bernadette, we all know, very strong. Anastasia can have the heal up. Lepin can have her revive up or something of that nature. Now there's not that many good Frost characters, or not that many utilized Frost characters. I think that Karina literally might be one of the best ones, because especially in the Holy Dragon Grounds, right? Just because of how strong it is to have that, because the dragon blocks and dodges. No one works off dodging. That sucks. It does block a lot, so you can literally have this burst. And she has, I think, did I just show it? Maybe I didn't. She has the same thing. 840 does not have burst attached to it, but still 840 damage. So the cat lady is still stronger in that regard, but the cat lady also can't fight in the dragon thing. So this is what this is for. And she has a kill reset. So If you have a really strong one of her, I think that, you know, you might be in the building. But the reason why I put this one a little bit back further is that I think fire is more aggro, and aggro is what the game is right now. There's not too much defensiveness in PvP, and in the eyes of PvE, it doesn't like matter too much. You know, I feel like you'll see more crits. The enemy crits you a lot, especially when the game just wants to show you that you're gonna lose the fight anyway. So I think you can at least benefit off of that. And also because of the Guardian Stones, you can find something that has Fire Guardian Stone break and benefit off of it. When I see the ice characters, sometimes, you know, there aren't any blocks. Like, you just don't get them, and then they don't gain mana as good as some of the other ones. Now, next one is definitely Dark. I think Dark comes after Frost just because of the situation where it happens. As it says, when your allies are dead. So every time you get a turn, an ally is dead, you're going to get a mana for each one that is dead. That's kind of crazy. Not every turn, sorry, every time your turn comes up. Let me fix that. Every time your turn comes up. So if you have 2 dead allies, you're getting 2 free mana on your turn. So it enables a lot of crazy stuff. Like for Shafrakin here, it enables him to possibly, depending on the situation, if there are 4 allies dead, he literally can marching sword every turn just because of his thrust passive, the breath of mana. So he's always giving mana to the front row. So 4 allies dead, he always has 1 mana. Boom, he can do this every turn, literally every turn, and it's crazy. It helps you with PvE. So when you look at some of these other characters, they were smart. They didn't bring a reviver. If they would have got a dark reviver, it would have been absolute hell in this game. If there was a dark reviver, then the reviver would have to actually do minimal stuff to stay alive, just make sure they stay alive, and then they always would AoE revive. Like some of these other characters, like this one's nice. Not too many buffers. I think she's like the only buffer that's in there. She only needs 2 mana, so not that much requirement there. You can actually pop this off every round. And this is a very strong move and a very strong dot. And I showcased that Sharpie, really good as well, because you can do this 252, pretty strong damage reset, and she can keep doing it as long as there's a couple allies that are dead already. And we all know, yes, I saved the best for last, Adams. Adams is stupid. Why? Because he has a burst, single target burst, as we've already seen before, 4 mana, so he doesn't need 5, so he can do it at 4 and then or do it when he's at 5. Obviously, again, when you have this guy on 6 mana, when you have this guy 6-starred, then it's a really dangerous thing because he's saving mana per turn, and then you can really burst a character out. And then you have this that costs 2 mana, so if you have 3 characters that are dead, you can even reasonably say, oh, let me do this, chunk something, gain 1 mana per turn, and then the next round when I gain 3, that's 4+, and then like there's so much crazy stuff you can do with the dark element. And the reason also why I'm doing this video is also because, like, you know, as characters come out, I want people to come back to this. They can come back to this video and like kind of get a glimpse of, wow, that's a dark character, like what kind of crazy stuff can I do with a dark character. And I'm assuming some of these characters are 6-star, right? So it's just heavily investing. So like I would say that I think it's better to invest in a nature character, especially if a strong nature character like Rara. Rara is probably, in my opinion, probably the best character in the game because of the fact that she's nature. She's the best nature, she's the best element in the game, and she's very strong. So like, I hope you guys are getting the reason why the video exists or something like that. So next up, what I want to see, and it's obviously that light is last, is going to be Machine. Now the problem with Machine is that it has no healers, but now they don't have a healer as Machines, but their requirement requires them to be like at max health. It makes sense because they're machines, that they work at a higher efficiency when they're fresh and they're new in comparison to when they're getting ran down a little bit. Makes sense. But I would have to say that this one's like the most balanced mana gain because they only gain 1 mana, but I think to bring them up, and it would possibly make them broken. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that this is not gonna happen, but I think that maybe if they had a threshold in which they gain 1 mana for this 50%, maybe 2 for this and that, because right now currently the other ones gain mana at such a crazy rate that it kind of makes that Machine and Light just really can't contest of getting like 1 mana. And to be fair, they do a lot with just gaining 1 mana. Like,
to God's bosom.
God's bosom, what the this character, in my opinion, is one of the best characters in the Machine lineup. I know they do have Baraka, they have Jin, but as far as a character that doesn't have any of this funny funky business, he's not attached to anything, he's super strong. He has a shock for 1 mana, which if he has enough HP, he's gonna always have access to it. and a very cheap back row stun for 5 turns. This character locks people up like crazy, and I think if I remember correctly, he's not that slow. 72, so he's about middle of the road when it comes down to it. As you guys know, Jin can do his little thing for 1 mana. Baraka can slowly stack up. He'll always gain 1 mana because he's so fast, so he'll gain 1 mana on his turn. But the other problem is that a lot of these other characters that are machines are kind of slow. They're not super fast, so they're vulnerable to being attacked, and it only takes 1 attack, sometimes even an auto attack, and then boom, they don't gain their mana anymore. So I think that they should change it so that they gain mana on a scale, like 50%, 75%, 80%, 90%, 100%. And yes, it would kind of change or maybe delay it. There are ways, I know they can do this in coding, that maybe that they don't gain mana at all the first round, which would definitely change some stuff, right? It would make Baraka a little bit more tame, that he's not popping off at your face immediately. That 1 round goes by, like the machine needs time to start up, and then if he has 100% health after 1 round, he gets 5 mana and he pops off. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I know for him it'd kind of be crazy because then he has access to 2-3, but I think that that's fine. Let me know what you guys think about that suggestion to make machine mana generation a little bit better, because everyone else is able to gain mana on ally turns and on enemy turns, but machine cannot. And we're gonna go right over and Dark can't, but Dark can gain multiple mana in 1 instance of their turn. And as you guys can see, if multiple characters are dead, Dark starts to skyrocket. Nature is really good when there is a lot of characters alive, but 1 that's just low. It's a crazy dynamic. Now, when you go here to Light, I feel like these are some of the more sturdier characters in the game. But when you see Light, right, and it's like everyone has to be alive, which is very difficult to do. To keep everyone alive with very aggressive play. As soon as 1 character dies, you're free mana, not even mana generation, but permanently keep mana is gone. It's just gone. As you can see, a lot of the characters here inside the Light are not fast. So I can go through and try to find the fastest viable Light character, which I would say is like Ferris. He's 52. I think Garth is the fastest, if I'm not losing my mind. No, 56.
It was a
Look at this.
I'm just
70. 70. That's the quickest so far.
The world is a villain.
I did a good job.
You should have
Iris. And the rest of them, oh my god, like no. So they're not fast, right? So most of the Lights are tanks and supports. They have, what is it, like 2? We have Matrone and Sonato, and that's really it as far as DPS units. So like there's no fast character that can utilize that. So it's like you have to hope that your team stays alive after being hit with these Light characters. That's why I think it's the worst. So my suggestion is that maybe change it, especially because they're slow, change it that they gain mana per character that's still alive. That would change a lot of these Light characters. It would make Garth completely overpowered. Well, not really. I mean, he'll be able to do his S3 a lot, but who cares? Who cares? It doesn't have a stun attached to it. It's just pure damage. And if you die, you die. Whatever. I don't care. A lot of these characters don't have like game-breaking skills or anything like that. And yes, I'm not going into the FCs. Maybe there's FCs that make this different. Maybe the Garth FC makes it different. But from what I can remember and tell, I don't think so. So let me know what you guys think. And this is open discussion. Feel free to chime in and tell me what you guys think. I think that Light and Machine should be changed the way that I said. Any suggestions? I would love to hear you guys' suggestions. This is a comment. This should be a very comment-heavy video because it changes the balance of things. Am I suggesting stuff that's going to be overpowered? Make the game broken? That's fine. You can disagree with me. But hey, I remember to use my outro screen. I got the waifus next to me, bro. I stay stacked with the honeys unless it's real life where I stay single forever. But that's not important. I think that would kind of change the meta. It would be really cool to see if they go in and change the way that the mana generation is kind of done. I think that it'd be interesting, and I think that it's a welcome change by me. But also, I think there's a lot more stuff that they need to focus on as far as more PvE content, more stability in the emulators. As you saw, I had a random crash. I wasn't doing anything intensive. I was literally in the journal, and LD player crashed, and people are getting similar stuff like that. So they definitely have to work on stability. Game has a long way to go, but it's still in a really good spot. But one thing that you don't have to worry about where you're at or something. Sometimes segues just don't work. Is that every day at the casino is your lucky day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.